I want to talk to the students that are going to be applying this year. So if you're applying this year, this topic is for you because I think it's a question that we don't ask ourselves enough. And the reality is this: after coaching students since 2014 at this point, what we've noticed is that the students that don't ask themselves this question that I'm going to share with you today are the students that usually get disappointed. They're the students that usually get rejected from schools, or they're frustrated and they're like, oh, I have to apply again, or I have to take more classes, all this stuff. And it just becomes overwhelming because it's like, man, I want to get into PT school and I want to get into PT school as soon as possible, but there's certain things that are just holding me back, and schools just don't seem to obviously see me as someone that they want in their program. And it just starts to play with your mind. So I have a question that I'm going to tell you, I'm going to share with you. And I'm telling you right now, if you can answer this question for yourself, the doors will open on your ability to be in control of your ability to get into PT schools.
It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go! Turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the
Hey, what is up? How you doing? My name is Joseph Ngugi. I'm a physical therapist, also one of the co-founders of Pre-PT Grind, where we help you get into physical therapy school without wasting time or money. So if you are a student, or if you're considering applying to PT school this year, next year, the year after that, then you're on the right page. So if this video gives you a lot of value, be sure to like, subscribe, also binge on all of our other content on here, on our podcast, on our social media sites. We have plenty of value and content to just help you navigate through this whole process of ultimately becoming a physical therapist. It's a really cool profession, so we want to help you get there. And what I want to do is I want to talk to the students that are going to be applying this year. So if you're applying this year, this topic is for you because I think it's a question that we don't ask ourselves enough. And the reality is this: after coaching students since 2014 at this point, what we've noticed is that the students that don't ask themselves this question that I'm going to share with you today are the students that usually get disappointed. They're the students that usually get rejected from schools, or they're frustrated and they're like, oh, I have to apply again, or I have to take more classes, all this stuff. And it just becomes overwhelming because it's like, man, I want to get into PT school and I want to get into PT school as soon as possible, but there's certain things that are just holding me back, and schools just don't seem to obviously see me as someone that they want in their program. And it just starts to play with your mind. So I have a question that I'm going to tell you, I'm going to share with you. And I'm telling you right now, if you can answer this question for yourself, the doors will open on your ability to be in control of your ability to get into PT school. So most students don't feel like they have control over their application process or over their ability to get into one of their dream schools. And so I'm going to help you do that with one question. So let's talk about it: how to drastically increase your chance of getting into your dream school with one question. So the question is this: if I needed to reapply again 1 year from now, what would I change? If I needed to reapply again 1 year from now, so I'm assuming that I'm applying right now, right? And let's assume that I'm about to submit my application and I just ask myself this one question. If I had to reapply, let's say I apply this cycle and I get rejected by every single school I applied to, what would I change? Would I retake more classes? Would I retake the GRE? Are there certain things that are obvious? Or do you kind of feel like, Joseph, I don't know what I would change. I have no idea. This question is such a game changer because I think sometimes we don't realize that when we submit our applications, many students, and it just boggles my mind because it's like, man, this is such a big deal for you. But many students always know in the back of their minds things that they would change or things that they would improve. You should be asking yourself that question now so that you can change those things now. So if I ask myself that question and the answer is, well, okay, if I needed to reapply again 1 year from now, what would I change? Well, Joseph, I would retake my chemistry because, in chem I got a C-. I would retake, my physics 1 and 2 because I got a D in one of them and I got a C in the other one. I would retake the GRE because I got a combined 290, and I know that most of the schools that I'm applying to want a 300. So my question is this: why did we not find ways to fix those things first? Because one of the crazy things, and maybe it'll help you, but when you're applying to schools tell you what they like. Most schools, and yes, schools are different. Yes, some schools want certain grades. Some schools have, obviously, maybe some schools want a 3.5, other schools want a 3.0. Yes, like schools all differ, but at the end of the day, most schools are very clear about what their non-negotiables are. So things that they're like, yay, you need this or we're not going to consider you. And if schools have that, the question I need to ask myself as a student is, am I respecting that? And I respect it by asking myself this question and then saying, how can I fix those things right now? How can I set myself up so that when I submit my application, the answer to this question is, Joseph, I have no idea what I would change. Like, I have done everything in my power. And the students that can do that, I'm telling you right now, like, we've coached students that have started with GPAs as low as a 2.2, actually. We've coached students that have had, a previous application cycle where they were rejected by 20 schools. I can go down the whole list, but the biggest thing is this, like when those students reapplied, they were able to sit with themselves and say, you know what? I did everything in my power to give myself the best shot of getting accepted. Every class that I needed to retake, I retook. Learning how to take the GRE and actually get a better score, I actually invested in myself, and I invested in the time to actually get guidance that helped me with those things. Picking schools that were actually a fit for me, I actually took the time to do that so that by the time I submit my application on PTCast, I'm able to say, you know what? I did everything I possibly could to get into PT school. And I'm just gonna say this, but most students who submit their application can't say that. Most students who submit their application always have something in the back of their head where they're like, well, if I needed to reapply again, I would change this. And if that's the case, then you haven't given yourself the best shot possible of getting accepted into PT school. And so if you want to give yourself, like I'm telling you right now, if you want to give yourself a phenomenal chance on your next attempt of getting into the schools you're applying to, ask yourself this question and be honest with yourself. And then ask yourself, what am I willing to do to fix those things now? If it's retaking classes, what resources do I need? What kind of help do I need? If it's the GRE, what kind of help do I need? If it's learning how the whole application process works, what kind of help do I need? Y'all, like, the resources are out there. We live in 2022 right now. Like, we have so many resources online. You have us, you have maybe in your community, you have people that have been on this path already. But understand that if you want to give yourself a great chance, you have to be able to answer this question. And my dream is that when you submit your application, you're able to say, you know what? I did everything in my power. I did everything. Like, I exhausted everything. And now I'm just waiting to hear back from the schools. It's all in their hands now. If you can come into your application process and do that, then your chances of getting into PT school will be higher. Your confidence in yourself will be drastically higher. And your ability to be at peace with whatever happens, through the roof. And so that's it. That's it. That's the question I want you to ask yourself. And if after asking yourself that question, you're like, I really don't know where to begin. Like, I have no idea what to do. I don't know what my next step should be. We got you. We're actually doing our acceptance masterclass training for the very last time live, and also for the very last time for free. Meaning that after this next time that we're doing it, which is going to be on May 15th, after this next time, it's no longer going to be free and it's no longer going to be live. And what we will be showing you is the exact blueprint that we have used to help hundreds of our students get into PT school, despite many of the obstacles that you might be facing right now. So if you want to learn what they did differently, go to leveluptheprept.com. We got you. We look forward to seeing you there. But most importantly, make sure you ask yourself this question. Be honest with yourself, and then take that answer and then say, how am I going to find guidance? How am I going to figure this thing out so that by the time I submit my application, I'm able to be at peace with myself, because I know that I did everything in my power to get into my dream schools. That's it. That's it. Have an amazing rest of your day. We'll see you on the next video. Appreciate you. Much love. Bye.